Today on MTG Unpacked, we're taking a look at the last of the Commander Masters Commander decks, Planeswalker Party. So the commander here is Commodore Guff. This is a blue, red, and white deck. So this one for all the Planeswalker fans out there. So we get a collector booster sample pack, 100 card deck with 10 new cards. Deck box, 10 double-sided tokens, foil-etched display commander life wheel, strategy insert, and reference card. Okay, so let's get to cracking here. So what are we saying here? A Planeswalker team-up sentries in the making. Okay, so we'll get this out of here. And this is actually the cheapest of the decks. The current price on TCG Player running you about $62, so not too bad. We've got some punch outs here and a divider, so we'll set that aside. Here is a deck box. There is Commodore Guff. He does not take any guff from anyone. Let's see what we've got here. We've got a divider. The life wheel, per usual, going up to 40. Okay, we've got a deck itself, collector booster sample pack. We'll take a look at that in a second, but let's see what this deck is all about. It's actually blindingly obvious, but anyhow, we'll take a look at this. Planeswalker Party. All right, playing the deck. So this is one of those decks known as like a Super Friends deck. You just try to stuff in as many Planeswalkers as you can. Commander rules here. There is the commander, and then Commodore Guff. You can learn about this bloke here, do some reading. So I like how they put some lore in here, really gives it a lot of depth. Okay, so let's take a look at our collector booster sample pack. So these things, you just get a couple of cards in here. I've had some good luck so far, so let's hope that continues. Alright, so there's our ad card, but we do get a mythic. Okay, so this is Rucaramel Biologist. It's actually one of the commanders we've looked at already. Not too shabby. And a foil Return to Dust. Okay, so we'll set those aside. Getting stuck into the deck. Lucky last, hopefully not the least of them. The lower price definitely helps with this one. Okay, so we've got Commodore Guff. It's a mythic. So we've got the thick display commander here. You're not going to shuffle that into your deck. Just a purely for display commander. And then let's cut the lands like so. I think that's about right. And we'll take a look at those later. And then let's take a look at this deck here. So we start off with Commodore Guff. Legendary Planeswalker Guff, 5 loyalty for 4. At the beginning of your end step, put a loyalty counter on another target Planeswalker you control. Is +1, create a 1/1 red wizard creature token with tap, add red mana, spend this mana only to cast a Planeswalker spell. Is -3, you draw X cards and Commodore Guff deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of Planeswalkers you control. Commodore Guff can be your commander. Alright, and next up we've got Leori, Spark Touched Hunter. Legendary creature, Elemental Cat. It's another mythic. 3/3 for 3 with Flying and Vigilance. Whenever Leori deals combat damage to a player, choose a Planeswalker type. Until end of turn, whenever you activate an ability of a Planeswalker of that type, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copies. Okay, next up we have a Cartographer's Hawk. Creature bird, 2/1 for 2 with Flying. When it deals combat damage to a player who controls more lands than you, return it to its owner's hand. If you do, you may search your library for a Plains card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. We got Path to Exile, instant for a single white. Exile target creature. Its controller may search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Kazul, Tyrant of the Cliffs, legendary creature, Ogre Warrior, 5/4 for 5. Whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks, if you're the defending player, create a 3/3 red Ogre creature token unless that creature's controller pays 3. And Arcane Signet, artifact for 2, tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Felwar Stone, artifact for 2, tap to add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. And of course, we've got a Soul Ring here. Artifact for 1, tap for 2, colorless. We know how that works by now. Command Tower, it's a land. Tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Myriad Landscape, it enters battlefield tap for colorless for 2 tap. Sack it, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Reliquary Tower, it's a land. You have no maximum hand size. Tap for colorless. Grateful Apparition, creature spirit, 1/1 for 2 with flying. Whenever Grateful Apparition deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, proliferate. So that means choose any number of permanents and or players, then give each another counter of each kind already there. So that does include the counters on the planeswalkers, the loyalty counters. Okay, next we've got a Rescue Explorer, creature cat scout, 2/2 for 2. Whenever a Rescue Explorer enters battlefield, search your library for up to X planes cards, where X is the number of players who control more lands than you. Reveal those cards, put them into your hand, then shuffle. Swords to Plowshares, instant for a single white, exile target creature, its controller gains life equal to its power. And the first, or actually the second of the planeswalkers here, the Wanderer, legendary planeswalker, 5 loyalty for 4, prevent all non-combat damage that be dealt to you and other permanents you control. The -2 ability, exile target creature with power 4 or greater. And Flux Channeler, creature human wizard, 2/2 for 3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, proliferate. So we learned about proliferate earlier. Fogbank, creature wall, 0/2 for 2, defender and flying, prevent all combat damage that be dealt to and dealt by Fogbank. And Narset, Pater of Veils. This is a nice one. Legendary planeswalker. Narset, 5 loyalty for 3. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. And -2. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them. Put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Next, we've got a Thrumming Bird. Creature, Phyrexian Bird, Horror, 1/1 for 2 with flying. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, proliferate. And Saheeli, Sublime Artificer, legendary planeswalker Saheeli, 5 loyalty for 3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. -2, target artifact you control becomes a copy of another target artifact or creature you control until end of turn, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. And Wall of Denial, creature wall, 0/8 for 3, defender and flying, has Shroud. This creature can't be the target of spells or abilities. And Azorius Signet, artifact for 2, for 1, tap, add white and blue mana. Boros Signet, same deal for red and white. And Honorworn Sheku, artifact for 3, tap for colorless, tap and untap legendary permanent you control. You get to untap Honorworn Sheku. So basically tapping that for mana and untapping and so forth. Is it Signet, artifact for 2, for 1, tap, add blue and red. We've got Talisman of Conviction, artifact for 2, tap for colorless, or tap to add red or white. It deals 1 damage to you. Talisman of Creativity, so same deal as the last one, tap for blue or red in this one. Talisman of Progress, so this one's for white or blue. Wayfarer's Bauble, artifact for 1, for 2, tap, sack it, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And Forge of Heroes, another land, tap for colorless, tap, choose target commander that enter the battlefield this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature, and a loyalty counter on it if it's a planeswalker. Good deal. Okay, so we'll set these over here. And next up, we have Mangara the Diplomat, legendary creature, human cleric, 2/4 for 4 with lifelink. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or planeswalkers you control, draw a card. And whenever an opponent casts a second spell each turn, draw a card. We've got Gatewatch Beacon, artifact for 3, enters battlefield with 3 loyalty counters on it. Tapped for white. Whenever a Planeswalker enters battlefield under your control, if Gatewatch Beacon has loyalty counters on it, you may move a loyalty counter from Gatewatch Beacon onto that Planeswalker. Very cool. On Nake Oathkeeper, creature Ogre Spirit, 0/4 for 2. Creatures can't attack Planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1 for each creature they control that's attacking a Planeswalker you control. For 4 and 2 white, exile Anoki Oathkeeper from your graveyard. You get to return target Planeswalker card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's pretty handy. Next up we got Teo, Geometric Tactician. Legendary Planeswalker Teo, 3 loyalty for 3. When Teo enters battlefield, create a 0/4 white wall creature token with Defender and Flying. Is +1. You and target opponent each draw a card. -2. Choose left or right. Until your next turn, each player may attack only the nearest opponent in the last chosen direction and Planeswalkers controlled by that opponent. We've got Spark Shaper Visionary, creature Human Wizard, 0/5 for 3. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose any number of target Planeswalkers you control. Until end of turn, they become 3/3 Bluebird creatures with flying, hexproof, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, scry 1. And Ronos, Masked Inquisitor, I think this is a new one. Legendary Planeswalker Ronos, 5 loyalty for 5. His +1. Up to 2 other target Planeswalkers you control phase out at the beginning of the next end step. So treat them and anything attached to them as though they don't exist until your next turn. Is -2 for each opponent. Return up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls to its owner's hand. -7 target artifact you control becomes a 9/9 construct artifact creature and gains vigilance indestructible, and this creature can't be blocked. Ooh, Chandra. That's why I picked the playmat here. Legacy of Fire, 3 loyalty for 5. At the beginning of your end step, Chandra Legacy of Fire deals X damage to each opponent where X is the number of Planeswalkers you control. Her +1, add red for each Planeswalker you control. Her 0 ability, remove a loyalty counter from each of any number of permanents you control. Exile that many cards from the top of your library. You may play them this turn. Guff rewrites History. Instant for 3. For each player, choose target non-enchantment, non-land permanent that player controls. Those permanents owners shuffle them into their libraries. Each player who controlled one of those permanents exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card, then puts the rest on the bottom of their library in a random order. Each player may cast a non-land card they exiled without paying its mana cost. Next we got Jaya's Phoenix. Creature Phoenix, 3/3 for 5 with flying and haste. Whenever Jaya's Phoenix deals combat damage to a player or Planeswalker, copy the next loyalty ability you activate this turn when you activate it. You may choose new targets for the copy. And whenever you cast a Planeswalker spell, you may return Jaya's Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. And Ajani Steadfast. Awesome. Legendary Planeswalker Ajani, 4 loyalty for 4. His +1 until end of turn, up to 1 target creature gets +1/+1 and gains First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink. His -2, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each other Planeswalker you control. -7, you get an emblem with if a source would deal damage to you or a Planeswalker you control, prevent all but 1 of that damage. So he's a mythic. We got another mythic here. Deploy the Gatewatch, sorcery for 6. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put up to 2 Planeswalker cards from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Ooh, we've got Elspeth, Sun's Champion. Legendary Planeswalker Elspeth, another mythic. 4 loyalty for 6. Her +1. Create 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. -3. Destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. -7. You get an emblem with creatures you control. Get +2/+2 and have flying. Oh, we've even got Gideon here. Gideon Jura, Legendary Planeswalker Gideon, 6 loyalty for 5 is +2 during target opponent's next turn. Creatures that player controls attack Gideon Jura if able. His -2, destroy target tapped creature. His 0 ability, until end of turn, Gideon Jura becomes a 6/6 human soldier creature token that's still a Planeswalker. Prevent all damage that will be dealt to him this turn. Next up we got Norn's Annex, artifact for 3 and 2 white Phyrexian mana, so you can pay that with either white or 2 life. Creatures counterattack you or planeswalkers you control unless a controller pays white for X mana for each of those creatures. Oath of Gideon, legendary enchantment for 3. When Oath of Gideon enters battlefield, create 2 1/1 white core ally creature tokens. Each planeswalker you control enters battlefield with an additional loyalty counter on it. That is awesome. Promise of Loyalty, sorcery for 5. Each player puts a vow counter on a creature they control and sacrifices the rest. Each of those creatures counterattack you or planeswalkers you control for as long as it has a vow counter on it. Next up, we've got Semester's End, instant for 4. Exile any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of the next end step, return each of them to the battlefield under its owner's control. Each of them enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature, an additional loyalty counter on it if it's a planeswalker. We've got Urza's Ruinous Blast, legendary sorcery for 5. So you may cast a legendary sorcery only if you control a legendary creature or planeswalker. Exile all non-land permanents that aren't legendary. We got Deep Glow Skate, creature fish, 3/3 for 5. When it enters the battlefield, double the number of each kind of counter on any number of target permanents. That is crazy. So doubling those loyalty counters. We've got Jace Bellerin, a mythic legendary planeswalker. Jace, 3 loyalty for 3 is +2. Each player draws a card, -1. Target player draws a card, -10. Target player mills 20 cards. Nice. Ooh, Jace is back again. Another mythic. Jace, Architect of Thought, legendary planeswalker. Jace, 4 loyalty for 4 is +1. Until your next turn, whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks, it gets -1/-0. Until end of turn, he's -2. Reveal the top 3 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put one pile into your hand and the other on the bottom of your library in any order. -8. For each player, search that player's library for a non-land card and exile it, then that player shuffles. You may cast those cards without paying their mana costs. He's back again. Jace Mirror Mage, legendary planeswalker. Jace, 4 loyalty for 3, kicker 2. So when it enters the battlefield, if Jace was kicked, create a token that's a copy of Jace Mirror Mage, except it's not legendary and its starting loyalty is 1. His +1 scry 2. 0 ability, draw a card and reveal it. Remove a number of loyalty counters equal to that card's mana value from Jace Mirror Mage. Next up, we got Oath of Jace, legendary enchantment for 3. When Oath of Jace enters battlefield, draw 3 cards and discard 2 cards. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry X, where X is the number of planeswalkers you control. Next up, we got Spark Double, creature illusion 0/0 for 4. You may have Spark Double enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature or planeswalker you control, except it enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature, enters with an additional loyalty counter on it if it's a planeswalker, and it isn't legendary. Next, we've got Blasphemous Act, sorcery for 9. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. It deals 13 damage to each creature. And Chandra is back again. Chandra, Awakened Inferno, legendary planeswalker Chandra. It's a mythic. 6 loyalty for 6. Her +2 each opponent gets an emblem with. At the beginning of your upkeep, this emblem deals 1 damage to you. -3. Chandra, Awakened Inferno deals 3 damage to each non-elemental creature. -X. Chandra, Awakened Inferno deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. Ooh, here we go. The playmat. Chandra, Torch of Defiance, legendary planeswalker Chandra, 4 loyalty for 4. She's got 2 +1s. So the first is exile the top card of your library. You may cast that card. If you don't, it deals 2 damage, to each opponent. The other +1, add 2 red mana, -3, deals 4 damage to target creature, -7. You get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell. This emblem deals 5 damage to any target. Loved this one when it was in standard, so that is awesome. We've got Repeated Reverberation, instant for 4. When you next cast an instant spell, cast a sorcery spell or activate a loyalty ability this turn, copy that spell or ability twice. You may choose new targets for the copies. We got Sarkhan the Masterless, legendary planeswalker Sarkhan, 5 loyalty for 5. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, each dragon you control deals 1 damage to that creature. I don't think we had many dragons in this one. His +1 and 2 end of turn, each planeswalker you control, here we go, becomes a 4/4 red dragon creature and gains flying. Okay, that's how that works. -3, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. Okay, so that's how you generate the dragons you need. Nahiri the Harbinger, another mythic legendary planeswalker. Nahiri, 4 loyalty for 4. Her +2, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. -2, exile target enchantment, tapped artifact, or tapped creature. Her -8, search your library for an artifact or creature card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle it. Gains haste, return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. We've got Narset of the Ancient Way, legendary planeswalker Narset, 4 loyalty for 4. Her +1, you gain 2 life, add blue, red, or white. Spend this mana only to cast a non-creature spell. -2, draw a card. Then you may discard a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, Narset of the Ancient Way deals damage to that card's mana value to target creature or planeswalker. Her -6, you get an emblem with. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this emblem deals 2 damage to any target. And Narset, Enlightened Master, legendary creature, Human Monk, another mythic. 3/2, 4/6 with first strike and hexproof. Whenever Narset attacks, exile the top 4 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may cast non-creature spells from among those cards without paying their mana costs. So that includes planeswalkers as well. We got Oath of Teferi, legendary enchantment for 5. When Oath of Teferi enters battlefield, exile another target permanent you control. Return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. You may activate the loyalty abilities of planeswalkers you control twice each turn, rather than only once. That is fantastic. Ooh, this is a spicy reprint. We've got a mythic, the Chain Veil, legendary artifact for 4. At the beginning of your end step, if you didn't activate a loyalty ability of a planeswalker this turn, you lose 2 life. And for 4, tap. For each planeswalker you control, you may activate one of its loyalty abilities once this turn, as though none of its loyalty abilities have been activated this turn. And Nivenirul's Disc, artifact for 4, enters battlefield tap. For 1, tap, destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. And Silent Arbiter, artifact creature construct, 1/5/4. No more than one creature can attack each combat. No more than one creature can block each combat. Okay, so now we'll move on to the mana base here. Full of tap lands. You'll want to replace these to speed things up. So we've got Cascade Bluffs, tap 4 colorless, or pay blue or red. You get to add either 2 blue, 2 red, or blue and red. We've got Exotic Orchard. It's a land. Tap to add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Frostbile Snail enters battlefield. You may reveal an island or mountain card from your hand. If you don't, it enters battlefield tap. Tap for blue or red. Fury Calm Snarl, same thing but for red or white. Khan's Bastion, a land, tap 4 colorless for 4, tap, proliferate. Mobilize District, a land, tap 4 colorless for 4. It becomes a 3/3 citizen creature with vigilance until end of turn. It's still a land. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature and planeswalker you control. We've got Mystic Gate, tap 4 colorless or for white or blue. You can tap, add 2 white, 2 blue, or white and blue. Port Town, when it enters as it enters the battlefield, you may reveal a plains or island card from your hand. If you don't, it enters battlefield tap, tap for white or blue. Prairie Stream enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands, tap for white or blue. And Rugged Prairie, tap for colorless or pay red or white. You get to add 2 red, 2 white, or red and white. Skycloud Expanse, for 1, tap, add white and blue. Temple of Enlightenment, when it enters battlefield, it's tapped, and you also get to scry 1, tap for white or blue. Temple of Epiphany, same deal, but for blue or red. And Temple of Triumph, same thing, but for red or white. Interplanar Beacon, whenever you cast a planeswalker spell, you gain 1 life. Tap for colorless, for 1, tap, add 2 mana of different colors. Spend this mana only to cast planeswalker spells. We've got a Mystic Monastery, enters tap, tap for blue, red, or white. And then let's take a look at the basics. We've got islands, 7 of those, and mountains, 4 of those, plains, 7 of those. Okay, so now we'll take a look at the tokens. Hopefully finding the ones we need here. So we've got a 0/4 wall with Defender and Flying. On the other side, a core ally, 1/1. A dragon, 4/4 with flying. I think you're going to need a ton of these with Sarkhan. 1/1 core ally on the other side. Okay, we've got an Ajani Steadfast Emblem. So if a source will deal damage to you or a planeswalker you control, prevent all but one of that damage. On the other side, we've got a 1/1 Wizard. Tap for red. Spend this mana only to cast a planeswalker spell. Chandra Awakened Inferno Emblem. Okay, on the other side, we've got a 1/1 Wizard. Chandra Torch of Defiance Emblem. Nice. On the other side, we've got the 1/1 Wizard. Narset of the Ancient Way. Do you sense the theme here? Lots of emblems. 1/1 Wizard. We've got Elspeth's Son's Champion Emblem with a copy token on the other side. 1/1 Soldier. And a 1/1 Servo. 1/1 Soldier. What else? What is this? A 3/3 Ogre. Okay. A 1/1 Soldier. And a 3/3 Ogre. And then parts of the turn and popular Magic formats. Okay, so this obviously one of the cheaper decks available right now for Commander Masters. I actually think this is probably one of the best of the bunch if you consider the pricing. I really like the Planeswalker theme. I'm sort of partial to the Super Friends theme anyhow. And of course, we've got Chandra here, so how could I resist this one? Let me know in the comments what you think about this deck, and if you've missed any of the others so far, link in the corner to the complete Commander Masters playlist. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy out there. Thanks for watching and have a great day.